Space and the bottom of the ocean, two of the hardest places a human being can reach. One person was the first ever to stand in both, a woman named Kathryn Sullivan, and she did it at 68 years old. In 1984, she walked in space. 36 years later, she dropped nearly 11 kilometers into the dark, to a place only 7 people had ever reached before her, every one of them a man. What she said when she came back up is the strange part. Long before she reached the bottom of the ocean, Kathy Sullivan had spent years getting to places almost no one else could. In October 1984, she floated out of the Space Shuttle Challenger and became the first American woman to walk in space. 3.5 hours of work in the open vacuum while the shuttle raced around the planet beneath her. Just getting there had been a long shot. NASA chose her class of 35 out of more than 8,000 applicants, and it was the first group in the agency's history to include women at all. 6 of them, Sullivan among them. Years later, she flew again and helped set the Hubble Space Telescope loose in orbit, the telescope that would show us further into the universe than we'd ever seen before. But space was never the whole story for her. Before NASA, Sullivan trained as a geologist, and she earned her doctorate studying the floors of the Atlantic and the Pacific. She was an oceanographer before she was ever an astronaut. Almost everyone who makes it to space has spent their life looking up. She'd spent hers looking down at the parts of the Earth we understand the least. She said once that the reason she wanted to go up at all was simple. She wanted to see the Earth from orbit with her own eyes. And almost no one has ever been to the deepest part of what she studied. The first 2 people to reach the bottom went down in 1960, folded into a cramped steel ball, expecting dead water, but finding signs of life instead. Sullivan had wanted to get down there herself for years. She just needed a way in. Would you rather go to space or down into the deep? Tell me in the comments. After she left NASA, she went to work at NOAA, the American agency that studies the oceans and the atmosphere, and eventually she ran the whole thing as its top administrator. So by the time anyone offered her a seat in a submarine, she'd already spent her whole working life, in one way or another, trying to reach the bottom of the ocean. And there's a detail buried in that story that almost nobody notices. It's the name. The Space Shuttle Challenger, the one Sullivan walked outside of, was named after a ship, a British research vessel called HMS Challenger that sailed the world in the 1870s and more or less invented the science of studying the deep sea. And here's the part that closes the loop. On one leg of that voyage, out near Guam, her crew dropped a weighted rope over the side for a routine depth reading, and it just kept going. More than 8 kilometers of it ran out before it hit bottom, the first time anyone knew there was a place out here that deep. That spot on the map became known as the Challenger Deep, named for the ship that found it, which means the trench at the bottom of this story and the shuttle Sullivan rode into orbit both carry the name of one Victorian sailing ship. So in 1984, Kathy Sullivan left the planet strapped inside a Challenger, and in 2020 she dropped to the deepest point on Earth, into a place named after that very same ship. She didn't plan the symmetry. Almost no one even knew to look for it. The submarine was called Limiting Factor, a small 2-person sphere of titanium built to survive full ocean depth. Her pilot was Victor Vescovo, an explorer who'd already reached the deepest point of every ocean on Earth and spent a fortune getting there. They launched from a support ship called the Pressure Drop, sitting alone on the open Pacific a few hundred kilometers out from Guam. This wasn't a one-off stunt either. Vescovo's team spent that expedition working the bottom of the trench, diving it again and again to map the very bottom of it. Sullivan went down as the oceanographer on board, there to look at that seabed with the trained eye of someone who'd spent a lifetime waiting to see it. Then they sealed the hatch and began to sink. Falling that far through the ocean is not quick. Within minutes, the last of the surface light gives out, and it doesn't come back. Sunlight has never once reached where they're going. Not a single ray in the whole history of the planet. They're dropping toward a place nearly 11 kilometers down, and the deeper they go, the harder the ocean pushes back. That pushback is the part that can kill you. At the surface, the air is already pressing on you, and you never feel it. Down at the bottom, the water presses more than 1,000 times harder. Scientists describe it as an African elephant standing on your thumb, all that weight balanced on 1 square inch, and never once letting up. The whole way down, the only thing keeping the two of them alive is that titanium sphere holding its shape against a force that would flatten anything else. There's no calling for help down there, and no fast way back up if something breaks. And it keeps getting colder until the water outside is only a degree or two above freezing. For most of history, we assumed almost nothing could survive down there at all. When they finally reached the floor, Sullivan became just the 8th human being ever to stand at the deepest point on the planet. At that time, more people had walked on the surface of the moon. She looked out at it and later called it a moonscape. A pale, silent plain, the lowest ground anywhere on Earth, lit for a few minutes by a lamp on a submarine and otherwise dark since the planet formed. The floor was a fine, pale mud, the kind that settles a grain at a time over millions of years, and she was looking at about the most remote patch of ground on the planet. If a place like this is your idea of a good time, you're in the right corner of the internet. Every week we go somewhere this far past the edge of the map, the deepest, darkest, least charted places left on the planet. Subscribe and you'll be there for the next one. They spend about an hour and a half down there. Then they dropped their weights and started the long climb back, another 4 hours rising slowly up through the black, out of a place almost no human eyes had ever seen. The record was already hers, but the part she'd remember hadn't happened yet. And that's when the day did something no day had ever done before. Back on the ship, barely out of the submarine and fresh from the bottom of the ocean, Sullivan got on the radio and placed a call, straight up to the International Space Station, orbiting about 400 kilometers over her head. Sit with the shape of that for a second. In a single day, one person had touched the lowest place a human body can physically go, and then talked directly to people living at one of the highest. The bottom of the ocean, on the line with low Earth orbit, through the same human being. Nobody had ever connected those 2 points before, because nobody had ever been to both. And here's the strange part. When it was over, she barely mentioned the pressure, or the danger, or the record she'd just set. What she wanted to talk about was the chance to compare notes with the crew up on the station. She's talked since about how different those two views actually are. Up in orbit, you're surrounded by light, she said, with the whole sweep of the Earth laid out in front of you. Down in the trench, there's none of that. Just the small cone of light the submarine throws, and past the edge of it, darkness in every direction. She even had a word for herself, a hybrid, an oceanographer and an astronaut in one person, and this was the one day both halves of her got to work at once. To almost anyone else, orbit and the deep ocean are opposites. To Kathy Sullivan, they were just two field sites, two places on the same planet she wanted to see with her own eyes, and she was the first person who ever saw both.